It looks as if the markets are going to collapse in on itself. Not just in automotive, but everything everywhere due to the stubbornness of those in charge. It's a lot of doom and gloom, but there is a way we can get through this. I have a theory on how we can overcome this dire situation, so stick with me to the end. By this point, most people are familiar with the whole President Trump tariff situation, or as some might call, a crisis. To recap, it's the main reason why prices are going higher, along with the tanked economy, left over from Biden's presidency and instability caused by a certain flu that isn't YouTube-friendly to name. So Trump's idea was raise tariffs to focus more on American production, and the rest of the world responded by increasing their existing tariffs. But it doesn't matter if you're in the US or not, because everyone is going to feel the effects considering the states are a primary driver of the world's economy. This means that everything will continue to go up in prices. Shopping for basic groceries, figures and Transformers collectors, and especially the automotive field with a huge 25% tariff on cars from foreign markets, meaning an increase of at least 5,000 and as high as 30 grand. Not that it would matter that these tariffs are taking effect on May 3rd, 2025, because already you'll see dealerships raising prices. And if you think it'll only affect foreign cars, it's going to affect American auto companies. Because let's face it, what's actually made in America anymore? This was partly the reason behind the tariffs, to punish companies moving out of the country. But who knows how they'll react or just leave the US entirely. Places like Canada have enacted their own tariffs in retaliation, which the European markets intend their own counter-tariffs on US brand cars. What does any of that matter when we're the ones who suffer the fallout from it anyways? Who cares when we're the ones footing the bill for everyone else's greed and foolish mistakes? It certainly is a situation unlike anything we've experienced on a global level to this degree. And the worst part about this is even components are going to be hit with tariffs too. Because even if you aren't someone who fixes up their car for racing or drifting, just daily care for it is going to be more costly. Which is already a recipe for disaster when everything is stacked on shaky blocks, since so many already struggle to buy the basic essentials. Essentially, any car after 2024 is going to have a huge spike increase. And dealerships will try to hide the older cars in order to keep everyone paying the higher price tag. So if you are going to buy a new car, then get it before the 3rd of May, and use the VIN sticker to check on the date whether it's before the cutoff period. But the question is, should you even bother in the first place? It's not all doom and gloom. As I said in the beginning, I have some suggestions about this matter. A lot of newer vehicles can be great to enjoy with all the luxuries they offer, but there are some issues with them. First, there's an overabundance of SUVs, minivans, and huge 4x4 trucks that make 2007 Ironhide feel mid-size by comparison. If anything, when was the last time you saw on American roads a two-door car? Or even a sports car? You might see the occasional Civic Type R or Impreza STI, or if you're lucky, a white Mazda RX. But otherwise, smaller cars and sedans are fading into obscurity, replaced by bigger and bulkier vehicles that made beefed-up cars like the Hummer H2 seem the norm, often in hybrid or EV models. But if anything, it would play into benefiting companies like Tesla quite a bit. And given Elon's influence in Trump's inner circle, this theory makes sense. Why else would Trump defend the Tesla brand during the boycotts? Second, the smarter cars get, the dumber the driver becomes. Smartphones work like a handheld computer, but the short-form content consumed so readily dumbs down people so much. Cars have been doing the same since automatics became the standard. The manual transmission is already being phased out. This is terrible in many respects. The technology exists to make shifting easier, so you're far less likely to stall the engine. And that's a good thing. Doesn't make driving such a stiff learning curve. However, they're now the more expensive option, and fewer drivers know how to operate or have the attention span to focus on them anymore. Plus, all the electronics and technology features are what drive repair costs much higher. This is because repair shops nowadays need to get the latest computer kits and essentially be science majors to understand how a car operates. And on top of that, you have newer cars coming without a dipstick. These additional components make newer cars a nightmare to mod or maintain when they should be more and more modular. Instead, adding so many luxury and safety options you'll never use is what keeps the costs high. And these internal computers aren't always reliable. Yet pretty soon, all cars will be self-driving pods, making the experience dull, boring, and routine if we leave it in the hands of the automotive markets as it stands now. This is such a big deal, because if the American auto markets suffer, then so do global markets in a domino effect. Don't focus so much on what goes on in the Chinese markets. This also means that if automakers can't sell cars because no one is buying, then layoffs and shutdowns happen, meaning that this could lead to corporate mergers, takeovers, or a collapse in the company. But with the declining quality of so many vehicles, this might actually be a good thing. Something needs to happen one way or another. MF Ghost isn't just some alternate dystopia, but rather an accurate foretelling of our own world heading in that direction. The only time in that series you see all the expensive or interesting cars is on the race course. A place where manual is still needed to better control the car's revs, especially when performing a drift. If you think buying a used car is going to help, not quite. It's supply and demand. To simplify what I mean, when new cars are increasing in price, more people will look for used cars, and then those prices increase due to there being more demand for a limited supply. Think of it as all those scalped Transformers figures that end up being double or triple the original figure's costs, like Cosmos before his reissue. So at this point, what can be done? Well, viewer, I'll admit, I don't have the answers to everything, nor do I know what the future has in store with how this will play out, or even how long the tariffs will remain in effect. It might be the new norm. However, like any race with Project D, we don't give up, and neither should you. So first, if you have a car that runs in good condition, keep it. I strongly advise against selling or trading it in because the markets are only going to get worse. Learn to fall in love with your car and care for it, like Keisuke loves his FD. If you absolutely need to get a new car, then buy it certified pre-owned. You'll get the benefits of a warranty without paying new prices. You'll still need to do your research into any car you plan on purchasing. Unlike figure collecting or going to a movie, this is a hefty, long-term commitment you're getting into. So be reasonable with how much you spend. There's a saying, hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. We're going to need to be strong to get through this. The more we help one another, sharing information and even helping in repairs or tips, the stronger we become. We'll restart to being strong and retake the streets by turning to the past to build a future. In this case, I mean it more literally. If you don't want to buy a car new or used, then get something scrapped up in a junkyard and rebuild it yourself. Take a weekend or two browsing scrapped junkyards, car lots, or local auto auctions. Check under the hood to check the engine's condition. You'll never know what you could find. I doubt it'll be something like the Devil Z or a giant robot, but it'll be a start. From there, modify it however you want. Yes, it's going to take a lot of time to get it done. You'll have to shop for parts, and with tariffs on those. By the end, it may be as much as buying a car. But I can assure you that if you do this right, it should cost you far below the sticker price had you gotten it from a dealership. Plan ahead. Build smarter, not harder. If you don't know how to do it yourself, then either take it to a mechanic or learn it on your own. There are a plethora of videos and tutorials to help with this. I'll be providing more content that covers such topics. If you're interested in anything specific, please leave it in the comments. There are a few people you always want to have as close friends. Your doctor, your lawyer, and your mechanic. But here's the downside. You'll have to get all your components before May 3rd if parts haven't already been inflated in prices by the time this video comes out. I know that things are hard right now, and what happens to people who get crushed under the pressure. But it's in spite of what's happening, we choose to keep going. I understand that not everyone is able to get resources together to build a car or have the time for it. And this isn't a logistical long-term fix. Buying new is too expensive. Buying used is expensive and without warranties. And building a car yourself is time-consuming even if it's the cheapest option. Like I said, we're in a unique point in time where all of us, regardless of which country we're from, need to tighten our belts a bit. Pay off whatever loans you have and try to minimize outstanding payments. Limit how often you travel. It's why I have a video on how to practice driving professionally while commuting to work. So while you have to be on the road, you can get some training in. I'll be making follow-ups to that pretty soon. Again, you'll need a good mechanic to help you inspect whatever vehicle you have, even if you intend on rebuilding the car. I strongly advise against the pink slip option, or racing with your car being the prize. Those days are long gone until we have a major reset in the auto markets, something that doesn't seem likely anytime soon. But we'll find a way to make it through this. If you have your own ideas or suggestions, then please share them in the comments. Share this video in as many places you can to get the word out. We need more than ever to come together as a community to take our stand. Remember, keep those engines roaring, and this is something we can and will overcome.